Hello, everyone. Welcome to Love, Relationships, and Marriage. I'm Pastor Bisola Oladele, and with me is my husband, my darling husband of 11 years, Pastor Biodun Oladele.
Okay.
Pastor, can you give us a little bit of clarity over love?
Well, thank you so much, my amiable
Loving audience.
audience. I actually want to say welcome to everyone on this platform, and I'm so delighted at this topic because it controls just everything about our life, about your life, and about the future of all of us. We have to have a mindset that it is family that builds the society. So the
Yes, sir.
nature of every society, the growth of every society depends on family. And we cannot talk about family without understanding the concept of love. And that is why this is a very important topic. It is one of the most grossly misunderstood thing in our society because people don't love the way love should be. People don't have the right understanding about love. People think that love is
Sorry, Pastor,
feelings.
you said people don't love the way love should be.
Yes.
So what should love be in this generation?
Well, it depends on the angle with which we are looking at it. If we're talking about love in a family setting, is different from love in a marriage relationship. It's also different from love when the relationship has not translated into
Into marriage.
So the approach of love differs depending on the level of the relationship. All relationships are relationships, but all of them are not at the same level of intimacy. And there is a level of relationship you have that allows for some level of intimacy, and these are also expressions of love. You get what I'm talking about. I would like to say this, that we have become a victim as a society of our misunderstanding of the concept of love. There are two stages of love in every marriage. Even when people get married,
So please,
there are two
can you lead
stages.
us from courtship? Because I believe we have a lot of young audience, people in relationships, people trying to make relationships work and hoping that this relationship they are in is going to lead to marriage.
Yes.
So can you lead us from relationships, courtship, dating courtship into marriage?
All right, thank you so much. I think the best perspective to this reminds me just the story of a lady in Oeyu those days called Dupe. Dupe was dating, she was in 200 level while dating someone in 300 level at the time. And the person graduated at 400 level. She still had to go up to 500
500
level.
level. Oh, wow.
And I remember they had this relationship. The guy was all over her, talking to her, taking her out and all that. She thought they were in a love relationship. Only for the guy to come back, and she attended the relationship seminar we held like this. And she mustered enough courage to talk to him at the next time he will come to check up on her, that what exactly are we into? And it was at that point the guy said this, that yeah, no, there is nothing like a marital relationship going on between us. That you are my younger sister, you are my sister. And at this time, Dupe was already in her final year. Very good people had come across her who wanted a relationship with
With
her,
her,
and
she has said no
she
to
said
them.
no to many of them. And the reason is because she did not know what to do with what she thought is love, and it was not love. There is a tinkly, bubbly thing about love that, it's all about feelings, it's all about the
Emotions.
emotions that goes around love, that goes around the relationship. And people mistake that to be love. Love is not just attention, it is equally affection. It is something that comes from the heart. How can you be able to tell what is coming from the mind away from what is coming from
From
the
the
heart?
heart.
Because the two are not the same. It is what flows from the heart that will last. It is not what comes from the mind. Many things come from the mind. Someone can hold you, look at you, give you attention, and is buying you things, and you can mistake that for this person loves me. And mind you, the person may not even be thinking in that direction. The person may just be a nice person and maybe someone that just wants to enjoy your time. He wants attention, but not affection. And attention can be mistaken for affection. And if that happens, there is going to be a misconception about what is really going on between the two individuals. But the thing is this, if you rightly understand this and can divide this correctly, then you'll have done the most important thing for yourself at the first level of whatever can lead to a marital relationship. And the reason I said that is simply because of this, that every love relationship, whether the one that will lead to marriage or not, begins with the same thing. It begins the same way. It's all about the way you feel about the other person. It
At the
begins with a
moment.
feeling. It begins with a thing that you believe that
An
is going to make,
attraction?
yes, it's an attraction, but that feeling is, it suggests something to you that with this person, my life is going to be happier. It's a feeling that comes. Nobody enters into marriage thinking that they are going to be miserable.
No.
The two individuals coming into a marital relationship are thinking of having
A better
happier
life,
a
happier
better
life.
Yes. And that is what the man thinks, and that's what the female thinks
Things
also. But the truth is this, for many reasons that people cannot explain, it does not lead to a marital relationship. And this leads to heartbreaks. It makes people become hurting. It affects people emotionally. It affects their mental health. We have a lot of people that are not psychologically balanced because of the way love has treated them, because they did not understand what love is all
And
about.
Pastor, we have a lot of people that can't be loved
Oh,
because they've
that's
been
another,
hurt.
they've been hurt.
You know, you mentioned something about affection. You thinking affection is a love relationship, but we have a lot and a lot of situations where we have a male asks a female out, and at the end of the day, it actually does not mean any good for her. It doesn't mean a marital relationship. You know, in this generation, we see it happen the other way around. So, I would love you to just, no matter how short, how can I know that this particular love relationship is going to lead to marriage?
All right, it's that is a very, very sensitive question, because human beings change. You know, there's a complexity of human nature, and you cannot actually take that out. It is not the way it seems at the beginning that
beginning.
matters. Yes. And there are people, you look at them, it looks as if they are going to make it
Prospect
into marriage, and it just didn't. And there are people who made it to marriage and it did not work out well. The reason is because of the complexity of the human nature. The truth is this: human beings change. And you cannot tell who is going to change tomorrow. You cannot change, or check, or know who will be what and who will not be what. But the important thing is the place of spirituality, the place of prayer, the place of divine guidance must come in. You know, we have a generation that believes that it's just about how I feel about the opposite sex, about him. Everybody getting into marriage, like I said, never got into it to become miserable. People are getting into it to become happy, but a lot of things do happen. But one of the things you have to check into is three things, because whatever anybody is going to do depends on these three things. It depends on their history, it depends on their values, and it depends on their personality. So history, values, and personality. Yes.
So if I'm going to be get into a love relationship with somebody, I must be clear about the person's history.
Yes, history in the sense that as we get along, pay attention, because there is something, a law about family life. It is the fact that, I'm sorry to say this, but that's the truth. Like father, like son, like mother, like daughter. Like father, like son, like mother, like daughter. That's absolutely correct. You're going to see that the way a male child will love will be the way you have seen the parents love. So if a child was abused, it's going to be difficult for him not to abuse a lady. If a lady was raised up in a home where the mother has a lot of bad characters, By the time she grows, because that's the example she
She has
sees.
seen. That's
Yes, and children learn through observation. That's the
observation.
only thing she has seen in her life.
That's what is not subconscious.
Yes, she did not retrain for it. She did not read any book. She did not attend counseling. She may not. She may even be listening to this program and feel it's not necessary that we are wasting our time.
So, what are you saying? Because, sir, the way things are out there now, a lot of people are coming from homes where there is abuse and a lot of, vices. If you have 10 people, 10 young people, and you ask them, how many of you want your, I've done this several times, how many of you want your marriage to be like that of your parents? 8, at least 8 out of 10 will say no. I want it better. What then is the hope? Are you saying that if you take your time to read books, to retrain, to pay attention to all these things before getting into marriage, then you have the possibility of not repeating what you've seen at home?
Yes.
Because I get you perfectly well, Pastor.
Yes.
Most times, these things, you find yourself... I have the story of, someone was talking to me, and she said, her husband is late. And she said she cried when she went out with a son, a young man in his late 20s, and then he was driving, she was seated beside him, and another driver offended him. And then he began to shout and insult at that person. And he did something which was exactly what his dad used to do when he was alive. He was so young at that point that, there was no way he could have... She was so surprised. How can he have this same kind of consciousness? And he put his hand beside him and said, okay, so I'm going to break your head with a spanner and this and that. And she burst into tears saying, this is exactly how his father was. But if you tell him he's like his father, I will say, no, I can't be like my dad. But the character, everything is still the same. So are you saying that if he had paid attention to reading books, being conscious about retraining so that I will not be like this,
Yes.
he could have a
it's
change?
actually one of the things affecting our society, that people repeat what has been. According to the Bible, there is nothing new under the earth. It is what has been that will be. And everything, even in the fashion world, is just repeating itself again and again. Now, one of the reasons I mentioned those 3 values is, those 3 things, the history, values, and personality of an individual, is simply because of this, that imagine you are in a love relationship, like ours, for instance. One of the building block has been that we have similarities along many things. And not necessarily because of look or appearance that people think is the thing, but the similarities. And this is why love has to be understood. This is why preparing for marriage is so important. Because it's not just about looks. The Bible says beauty is vain, favor is deceitful. But a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. Because beauty will fade. And one thing about love is you have to learn to pick yourself up every day. You have to keep loving every day. If the person you are in a relationship with, for instance, has a love language, there are 5 love languages. Let's take, for instance, the first one is called words of affirmation. There are ladies that love someone telling her that you look amazing this morning, you look so beautiful, you are gorgeous, and all of that.
You changed your hair.
Yes,
It's
you
so
changed your
nice.
hair, you smell so good, and all that. That is what is love for her. It is when someone does that
That she
that
feels loved.
that she feels loved. Because, like I said when we started, that there are 2 stages of marriage. And many people never transit from the first stage to the second stage. When you newly got married, you got married at the first stage of love, which is the in love stage. We call it the euphoric feelings. That's where it's all about how that the other person feels, how I love her so much,
How
she
we
cares
feel about
about
each
me,
other.
how we feel about each other. That's correct. But a time comes that if you don't transition from the first stage to the second stage, you're going to have problem. At the second
So
stage,
how long? Is there time frame to that? Where you must
yeah,
transit?
you will see that most times that transition, if it does not take place very fast, you begin to have arguments, begin to fight. You begin to have because argument
What they
in
call the
marriage,
first 3 years.
yes, argument in marriage is because of differing ideas. Ideologies are different.
Different.
Yes. And nobody believes, every human being believes that their idea is supreme.
Is right.
Is right. So that conflict of idea is the reason why transition may be difficult. Because you have to know that you don't love the opposite sex the way you love yourself, the way you feel the person should be loved. You love the person the way the person
Wants to be loved. Thank you, sir.
So
Thank you, Pastor.
if for instance, what let us hear is this. If we have an instance, I had a case of a woman whose marriage was shattered, and she married this guy who happens to be a street guy, but pretended so much to be a church boy. And they met in church, they got married, and eventually the journey did not go beyond 4.5 years. Until everything came out of, and you will notice something that they began to fight. They fought so much that at one time, they had to eat each other and do all of those things. And it was so bad. As a pastor and a counselor, we face a lot of things like this,
Yes, sir.
where you are part of people's inner life. And I'm going to get to a stage whereby we'll discuss why that happens. Because people seriously don't prepare for marriage. And it is one of the things affecting our society. Now, they did not know.
People prepare for wedding, Pastor.
Yeah, they prepare for wedding.
not marriage.
But the thing is this, people don't know. In fact, the average person going into a love relationship does not know how they want to be loved. Yeah. Some people don't
So
know
it's
how they want
possible
to
I
be
don't know
loved.
my own love language.
Exactly. And because they've not come to the age
Or maybe I can't
of
define my own love
discovery.
language.
Yes. So transition from this first stage to the second stage will be very difficult. Now, that second stage now, what happens there is this. You have to love that person the way that person wants to be loved. If, for instance, and it can be very difficult, it's the most difficult part of love relationship. Because if a child was brought up from a home and that child never had words of affirmation from home, nobody told him that you look so good, that you are handsome, you're the best looking guy.
I think I deserve
you're
a
the
degree in
best.
that area.
Yes, you're the best, and all of that. It was never told that. Now, if he gets to marry a lady whose love language is words of affirmation, because he's not used to it, at the first stage of marriage, he would do it with ease because he's not married. When
He
they
just
get
got married, and the euphoria is still there.
yes, the euphoria is still there. As soon as they are married already, it's difficult for that thing to come because it was not his nature. He's not used to that. If the love language is physical touch, and it's not someone nobody, while growing up, his parents don't touch him, you stay alone. It has been said that babies that they cuddled are better than babies that were not cuddled. Let's say a baby was left alone, was not carried, was not, cuddled and all that. And the child grows like that. Now got married to a lady or the other way around. To someone that loves to be touched.
Someone who loves to be cuddled.
He will not be able to do that. And that can affect. And that's the way the lady wants to be loved. Now, it may be very good. It's not a bad person. Two people, we must get this. There is no divorce that happens that the two people in the love relationship are bad.
People, no.
Divorce does not happen because two individuals are bad. Divorce happens because of difference in opinion, difference in ideology, difference in the way they can be loved, and your inability to transit from the first stage to the second stage. You may say the person has not grown, the person is not mature. Sometimes it is not like that, because when you meet some of these people individually, you'll be amazed at your discovery that they are one of the nicest people on earth. But the truth is this, they cannot stay together in mind. They may be better off as friends. There are people that are better off together as friends. They are not good enough for marriage. So you can be good. This way we've been taught and brought up that, if we are good as friends, then why not? We love each other, we care for one another. Transition into the second stage is where they will have the problem. Most of the younger people we have seen get married, I've seen marriages in the last 3 to 4 years. As I watch there are times I meet with them, I ask questions. You see their disposition. You will see that there's no transition into the second stage taking place. Most ladies in relationship are not loved the way they want to be loved. The guys will say, I'm doing my best.
A major key point is you need to understand how your spouse wants to be loved.
It is when you are able to do that,
Sir, please, can you
that
tell us
marriage
the
is
other
taking place.
that marriage is taking place?
Yes, that's the
You
real
told
marriage.
us word of affirmation, physical touch.
Physical touch.
What else?
We have gifts. Some
Act of-
people love gifts. Acts
act
of
of
service.
service.
Yes.
Someone's
It's
love
another thing.
language here is act of service.
Yes. It's some people
Okay.
like, they like someone doing something with them. Then communication, attention.
Yes, sir.
Yes. I have the case of two individuals I counseled with, and it's such a very touching story. The husband loves acts of service. He helps with the dishes and all of that, mows the grass, does all of those things, cleans the car for her, he bought her a car and all of that. But what the lady wants is someone that can sit down with her, listen to her, and pay attention to her, communicate with her, check
Listen
her
to
up,
everything that
listen to
happened.
everything. And the man
Jesus.
is not like that. He feels like it is out of place. Do you know, just because of this, they are wealthy, they have the money. Just because of this little thing, as little as we can call it, he broke the marriage apart. It took a lot of counseling, and that's why don't get married and think that you don't need to be counseled. If you miss counseling in marriage, it's going to affect your transition to the second stage. It means you will not have marriage. You may stay together because you are Christian, there's nothing we can do. The heart of your husband will be outside of you. It will not be with you. Like we had a case today of the couple we had to spend time with in the office.
Just today.
And all that. And we can see that we could pick what the wife could not pick. And the wife was saying something that the husband too does not want her to say, but she had to say it and express it. And unknown to her, the husband is having affairs outside. And there is something I think I have to say. And this may be quite amazing. When you marry, or you are in a marital relationship, or you're married to someone, you really do not know who that lady is until she has a child. Absolutely. You don't know any lady until she has a child. You're going to get the best of her. She'll be well behaved. Especially for couples who are waiting upon the Lord for children. Most ladies, even at that stage, she will not be different from what you saw before you got married. She'll be so respectful, so submissive, be everything to you and all that. The real her will come. She believes she has the key to the marriage.
I believe
immediately she has a child.
They say having a child establishes you in a marriage.
Absolutely.
So
having a child establishes you in a marriage. That's
yes,
highly correct.
I've seen that a lot. I've seen someone say she has changed.
Yes, she has changed.
She has changed.
Most times when people, even especially for people that have the delays, when you sit down with them and engage with them, you begin to see that thing. You begin to see that thing because as people who know something about counseling, I have done that. What of the case of this lady you remember in Abuja, whose husband will beat her, will do all sorts, and cheat on her, beat her, treat her anyhow. And the lady was telling us that, the guy had never bought her anything. And the question you begin to ask is this: was there anything like that before they got married? In courtship and all that. And the lady said it was just everything she wanted at courtship. And that's what takes us back to those three things: history, values, and personality.
Pastor, I've seen people a lot come around me and say, oh, they desire my kind of marriage.
Okay.
If God should just give them this kind of relationship between Pastor and Pastor Bisola, oh, God would have helped me. God would have done this, God. And then I sometimes I ask, are you really sure you can, you have what it takes to be in a marriage like mine? Oh, tell me what it takes. I can do anything. I don't mind. I just want my marriage to work. So people looking at us now, 11 years of marriage, 5 years and 5 months of courtship, that makes 16 to 17 years of relationship. And then I can say this, it is just as new. How did we get here? I think we need to share that because it didn't just happen. I remember from meeting you, oh my God, from meeting you down to courtship, and even to marriage, we had principles. We had, yes, Pastor, we had values. If there is one thing I know that has worked so much, we have values. We pay attention to our history. I remember
I
one
think that
time
really helped.
it really, really helped. We pay attention to our history, and then we really do understand each other's love language. We really do understand each other's love language.
And I think one of the things that really helped us, I must confess, is respecting each other. Yes, respecting each other. Some people don't do that. Some people, I found this out that it is very difficult for people in a love relationship to become, to have a teamwork with someone they are in an intimate relationship with. There are people that they do well with you at a distance. They are better off to be related with at a distance. The more you bring, the closer you bring them, the more disrespectful, the more dishonorable they become. There are people like that. Such people are very difficult to love. Some people have problems in their relationship. That may be the problem you have. You may be someone very, very difficult to love. Immediately anybody brings you close. We have had this with many of our staff members, both at home, staff members at home, and staff members at the office.
Yes,
Some
sir.
people, you want the best out of them, just keep them at a distance. There are some, just don't be nice to them. That's how to get the best from them. There are people,
don't ever smile.
Don't even smile at them. You just have to have that bossy attitude to keep them on their toes. I've had also people that, the day you smile, you are just good and all of that. They just take you for granted immediately. Remember the story of the lady who worked as a chef for us at home, and all of that, you just have to be hard on her for her to get the best out of her. Anytime maybe my wife is trying to trying to
treat her well,
do all of those things, you just see the worst come out of her. Some people are like that. No man can stay with someone.
Imagine being like that in a love relationship.
And people pretend. But until you come close, some people must not be brought close. That's why this marriage thing is beyond I just prayed. You must understand people's personality. So there are wives that it's better for the husband not to even share close things with them. We used to have this issue and tell people that you have to let your wife into what you're doing. But it is not every lady you can do that with. And that's one of the things that work for us. We have no secrets, absolutely. We have been able to, I also found that some people have difficulty even sharing their password with their husband, with their wife, and all of that. And I always want to say this to you. We have, remember the story of this, I don't want to mention the name, of two set of ladies we pastored at a time, and their dad was into a contract in Abuja. And the contract was almost working out. He had gotten the contract, and just to go and sign the whole thing and get the money. And he was doing this with his friend, and the man went sick and died. It was quite mysterious. Do you know the man has a property in Abuja till today? The children are not aware, the wife is not aware, because they were not carried along. All this, my secret thing. The money you have in the account that nobody knows about. If anything happens to you, bankers will eat it. Yeah, someone will eat it. By the grace of God. And enjoy his life with it. There are many, many, many monies in bank accounts unclaimed for years. You are just making the banking system become wealthier. You may be the reason why Tony Elumelu is where he is today. Why all these guys are buying the thing. And it could be someone's fortune that will have bettered the life of their children. And the children of the owners of that money are suffering somewhere. Why? Because of this secretive thing. So someone that you cannot flow with their personality. I think it's important we check out with this personality thing. Some people are stingy.
But Pastor, it's kind of difficult to know in courtship.
Yes, it's kind
In a lot of cases,
but it's not
anyway.
impossible to know. Some people see signs of it and they excuse
Red
it.
flags.
Yes, they are red flags. They just excuse it that, oh, it will change. It will change.
Ah, no, please. That is one thing I don't want to ever hear.
And I think everybody
It will
should be
change.
aware of that people don't change in marriage. In fact, people get worse. People get
Marriage
worse.
brings out the real you,
Yeah.
the full version of who anybody really is.
And these are very vital things connected to marriage. And I think it will also be nice for me to say something about what really makes a marriage relationship going. What's that thing that keeps it? At what point can you begin to make decision and say that I think this is the person I want to go with? Please check these 3 lines, or maybe I'll give you 4. You know, you have to check your spiritual interests. Do you have the
Faith.
same social interests?
Do you have the same faith?
Do you have the same faith, like she has said, spiritual interests?
Interest.
You know, do you have the same intellectual interests? Intellectual interests. Because if all these things are not there, you don't have the same values. Is what this one loves is what the
So,
other
Pastor,
hates.
it's like breaking it down is like saying, if I want to know if we have the same values, I need to check if we have the same spiritual interest, if we have the same social interest, if we have the same, what's the third one you gave us now?
The same
Intellectual
interest,
interest.
yes.
So
Yes.
that keeps us in line that we have the
Because
same values.
I want to reiterate, like I said that the other time. I said this the other time. Infatuation is possible, and don't let the in love thing override all of these things, because you will not be able to translate from the first stage to the second stage. That marriage is not going to be a good one. You will not raise up good children. You may abuse your marriage, can possibly abuse your children. You can raise up children that are abused mentally because they've never seen love. So they are difficult to love and they cannot love. So they cannot positively add or build the society because of the personalities involved in the marriage. So these are very vital keys that must be considered. So you have to look at, do we socially align? You know, I love to dress well. I love it when I dress well. I love good clothes and all that. Sometimes it's expensive to dress well. To some people, it does not have, it's not part of their value system. Some don't see any reason why they should buy a very expensive thing for their wife and all of that. To that person, he calls it a waste of money. But for a lady that was raised in a home where they showered her with gifts and all of those things, she's not going to feel loved.
I saw a video, Pastor, and this lady was well dressed, looking really good, well dressed, you know, hair done, nails done, and someone said, "How come you're always like this at every time?" And then she said, "Have you seen my mom?" And she showed the picture of her mom, looking gorgeous, looking well dressed. "Have you seen my dad, my brothers, my grandma, even up to grandpa?" Grandpa was just crossing his road from the other, is from the other side of the road to their own house, and it was well dressed, prim and proper.
That goes back to what I said about history. It's a very big factor in every relationship. Most ladies keep making this mistake, you know, by never wanting to study or pay attention to the history in the family anybody's coming from, because listen, it is going to affect. It is always like this, never forget, like father, like son, like mother, like daughter. So if there are bad behaviors at any quarter, you will see them replicate the same.
Except the person has paid attention.
Except you pay attention to it, and it has to be a very deliberate one. You have to be intentional.
Intentional about
and
it.
The intentionality is not that I'm not going to do it again. No,
Not just saying I'm not going to do it again.
No. You do it again. You do it again. Like the case of the Abuja person we're talking about. You know, the history the lady does not know because they are a family friend to us. So when this lady was reporting to me, I could relate because the father to this brother, even though the father is a pastor right now, he was a womanizer. a womanized, married,
Oh,
had many wives and all of that.
wow.
That tendency will be repeated in the next generation. It's like father, like son, like mother, like daughter.
Daughter.
It plays out everywhere. And if you don't, and that's why I tell people it's important you don't just marry because I love him, I love her. These are tendencies that are going to come up. And the truth is this, if they are not taken care of, for instance, for me as a pastor, if I notice this lady, you came from a home where marriage did not work, I would not want you to marry another person coming from a house where marriage did not work. In fact, if you brought someone, I want to introduce you to someone, one of the things I would look at is the tendency that how are your parents, do they live together? I may be laughing, just, taking you around some things and asking questions. I know what I'm going. I know where I'm going. I know what I want to get out of it. If I hear that the two parents stayed together and all that, and then we know that there is the tendency of like father, like son, like mother, like daughter is going to help in that regard. If it is that they never, because that's the example that child has seen, that's what is going to repeat itself.
Pastor, you said something about being intentional about a change. And you said being intentional is not saying I'm not going to be like my dad.
Yes.
If you just say I'm not going to be like my dad, you're going to be like your dad.
Will.
So what do you do? What in clear terms, what do you do?
All right, I'll
not to be like your dad or your mother.
If you're going to change anything, because don't forget that nature is stronger than effort. No matter how you try, you still find yourself doing the same thing. It's more or less nature. Yes. So if you want to deal with nature, then you have to open yourself to correction. I've seen many young people who are married. Immediately, we have cases like this, and you can relate.
Yes, Pastor.
Immediately, even on the male side, immediately they get married, they are like, they don't want to come close to their
pastors.
They don't want to do all of that. They just want to do it on their own. And they now see the pastor who was giving the counseling before. They see the pastor as the third party in quotes. The problem with that is this: you will not see a better example because people measure with the examples that they see. Remember the case today when you were speaking with that lady and you told her that I have access to my husband's account. I have access to his phone and all that.
My face opens his phone, opens his bank apps, opens everything.
You told of how you took my money to do skincare without telling him, being aware. I was out of the country, and she just felt she needed to do skincare and all that. She took like 300,000 naira and she did it. And the guy you could see it all over his face, the house
changed.
And he said, and the lady was like, wow, no, it would kill me if I did that. And the lady was telling my wife that he has never given me any amount I asked for since we've been married. And they are not married 1 year, 2 years. And he has never, if she asks for 50,000 and then she's going to get around 20 to 25,000 naira. If you check with that guy, that personality, that's the way he saw it at home. So if it's going to change, people follow examples. If it comes to church, it comes close to people. And I'm saying this to some of the girls. You got married in a church and your pastor, for instance, or your counselor have a very good marriage. And, there's this tendency that is the foolishness of this generation is that I'm going to do better. You cannot do better at the thing you have not seen. If marriage did not work in your home where you came from, listen to me, the example you'll be
something
told,
you've not done before.
Everything you'll be advised around are things that will make it look like that. No matter what they try to do, no matter how they try to help you, it's a logical and a scriptural thing. And but it is easier to change things when you see a better example. You've seen.
We need a lot of good examples.
Yes, you've seen conflict around them and they solved it. When it is your time to settle your conflict and your arguments,
you will know how.
You will just find yourself flowing and doing the same thing. Spiritually, in spiritual concept, we call it that we refer it to what happened in 2 Kings chapter 2, that the spirit of Elijah doth rest upon Elisha. It means that they saw Elisha doing things the way Elijah used to do them. That thing is possible. It can affect marriage. That you see yourself doing something in the way your counselors or your pastor is doing it.
Pastor, this is taking me down memory lane.
Yes.
Mentoring school, days of
Exactly.
being under a pastor's wife mentoring school, several meetings upon
And
meetings.
it affected a lot.
A
That's
lot.
how to
Oh
change
God,
anything in your background.
days of there is this feast we told to do. You know, you do this feast in your room, you cook, you invite about 5 people. They're going to grade your taste, the taste of your food. They will grade the aroma, they grade different things. And all of these things, I think these were the things that helped to remold me. I didn't get that at home at all. You know, I'm so particular about taste. I'm particular about the way you serve, the way you dish food. I'm concerned about, I get it.
And those things were not in your
No,
foundation.
they were not in my
but
foundation.
You caught
A lot
an
of things
example
were not in my
because
foundation.
you opened yourself. So all these things that let's keep to ourselves, don't let anybody know what we're going through. Any guy that tells a lady to do that, he wants to kill you.
You will suffer, my sister.
You will suffer.
Oh, Jesus.
You will not get the best of that marriage. And you will not come to the society or to the church and be pretending as though, you know, one thing that sets the fear for many people is this. If they get to know about it, they will say that we have failed. They will say that, but you need help. You need help. I want you to know this. Your marital choice to anybody affects all of your life, not some. All of your life.
Let us sink.
All of your life. Everything
Every aspect,
about you
everything
is
about
affected
your
by
life.
that decision. So it is something you have to be conscious of, and you have to learn how to manage it. If it is properly managed, it can even affect how long you will live and how long you may not live. Can be affected by all of this. And these are things we all must be conscious of and pay attention to it. But I believe this, that people can really have things change for them. A change is possible. Read books, you know, but the problem we have is that people don't read again. Most people's marital ideology came from Nollywood and Hollywood and all of the woods and all of that. And don't forget that those people are in business. They just want to make money out of you. They may be teaching you something that is not workable.
Make you feel emotional.
Yes.
And make their money.
Know, and if you don't understand that, it's difficult for you to understand what is going on. Read books. And I think that it would be right for us to look at some of the questions that people must ask and settle before they get married.
Our viewers even have questions in their hearts right now, and most likely we've been asked those questions in time past.
I said that to say this. There are 5 questions I think people must ask and settle before you say yes in marriage.
Okay.
You know, it is something that most times people don't think it will happen. You know, people think that if we are in love, we will not argue. That if we are in love, there will be no conflict.
No, if we're in love, we should not argue, because they do argue.
Yes, they think that it's not going to happen, but it's going to happen. And when it happens, argument and conflict does not mean you have married the wrong person.
Yes, sir.
It only means that you are human. It only means you are human. It does not mean the person, because in argument or conflict, it means you have an ideology and the other person has another ideology. And your ideologies are the things conflicting. And if you don't understand the rudiment of marriage and all that, and this is what I see, you know, I had a case of 2 individuals that what caused the conflict that they reported was just fan. One does not want fan, the other one wants fan to sleep. That was just the thing, as simple as that. This is the way I want my dish to be served. This is not the way I want it. Ideology. The two in a conflict, like we in our school of ministry, we always teach this. Nobody's wrong and nobody's right. Or we put it this way: everybody's right, nobody's wrong. But the thing is how do we undo such things? There are questions you must ask and settle before you say I do to anybody. Number 1 is this. It's funny if I say them, but I'm going to just say maybe 2 or 3. I believe we all
want to hear them.
Number 1 is, this will surprise everybody. And here is it. When we get married, are you going to change your name to my name? Yeah. There are ladies in this generation that I heard a case when I read a book and the author said the husband thought she was going to change to his name.
Well, she should change to his name.
You think he should. This generation thinks differently. It is a question you must ask, as simple as it is. This thing caused the conflict of a change of name. The lady felt the name, and especially if you come from a home where your dad has made a name for himself.
A well-to-do
Like
name.
we have, you can't tell, how will you tell Dangote's daughter to change her name? To which name? I'm sorry. To which name? You know, even my patriarch and mentor and father in the Lord, his daughter still had this name. Love Oyedepo Oga.
Oga. That is still acceptable.
Not Love
but
Oga. No, as much as we say that, this thing has to be discussed.
Okay.
If you come from a home where your dad did not make any impact or did not succeed, sorry to use that word, or it's not known, it's not popular,
Or doesn't have
it's not
a
an issue.
name.
Yes.
Okay.
You feel it's nothing. But if you're going to marry someone that has made a name, let's take for instance now, Sheyi Vodi has made a name for himself in the fashion world. Let's say that Sheyi Vodi's surname is adopting. And he wants a continuity of that thing. If he has a son that is going to be in the fashion business too, and you tell him now to change the name Sheyi Vodi, that means you are telling the child to go and start all over
again from square one.
because the name Dangote will open doors anywhere. So that lady wants that name because of the door of the
Well,
door
I
it
feel
will
the
open.
guy she want the name too.
Not every guy will want that. There are guys that will not mind in this generation to even adopt the name of the, of the family he's marrying into, since it will open doors. All the Femi Otedola, I don't know what, the one that got married recently, I don't know if she adopted the name of the new guy, the guy she married and all that. So all these things happen. There are things you have to settle.
So it should be discussed.
Yeah, it should be discussed.
Okay.
Number two thing that must be discussed is this. When we have conflict, who do we talk to? Because that notion that there won't be conflict, there won't be argument is a
It's
lie from the
impossible.
pit of hell. It's not going to happen.
There
You're going
will
to
be
have conflicts.
conflicts.
There will be differing ideas. Who do we talk to? The notion that we're not going to talk to anybody, you will kill yourself. You will suffer. You will go through things you don't expect or pray to go through. And the truth is this, that kind of a journey has an end that is not far from the time you started it. Who do we talk to if we have conflict? Settle it and
We've
discuss
tried
it.
to resolve it.
Yes.
We're unable to resolve it at this juncture. It's looking like we can't
This
make
notion of
headway.
we don't want third party, we don't
So
want to
who
talk
do
to
we talk
anybody.
to?
It is not something I support. I don't support not having third party. I don't know who came up with that word third party. I don't know who created that thing. But you see, in the sense of wanting to have your personal life, and that's why marriages used to last in the olden days than now, because they lived a communal life. People live together. So there are elders in every family house where everybody lives. You can
that resolve conflicts.
That resolves conflicts. If you do this or someone does this, the natural thing is this. Is there any elder in their house we can talk to? Because it is the responsibility of the elders. We saw an example in the book of Ruth, when the decision about Boaz marrying Ruth was to be taken. They found out that there is someone that is closer that should own or marry Ruth. And when that decision was to be made, they took it to the elders of the town. Boaz decided that they should take it to the elders of the city. And if the person who is supposed to take the decision, take ownership of Ruth, does not agree, then he can do that. And that was exactly what they had. That is the spirit from scripture. That is the spirit we had in the olden days. But right now, people are, when they marry, this flat kind of living, that we live exclusively alone, we live alone, nobody. Some people have died like that. Marriages, you don't even know what is happening in many homes. And people can crash their head, deal with each other, do all of those things. There's nobody you can call on. And this notion that we are not even a part of any church. If conflict happens and emergencies happen, Especially if you're living in Nigeria here, there's no 911 to call. Your only 911 sometimes can be your pastor.
Many times, it's pastor's life.
Your pastor can be your 911 that will pick and deliver an answer and say, you know what, I'm coming. Everybody just be at peace until I come. And someone whose voice will be that respected. The amazing thing is we have trained and raised people in this way, only for them to want to make decisions. They get to that angle and they say,
That
no,
junction.
no, we are going to do it alone and all that. And that may be the reason the relationship of a parent did not work. All right, so that communal thing, I think it really helped that generation. So the tendency for...
Pastor, please, you need to give us another question that must be asked. This is really
Okay,
good.
another question that must be asked is this. Are we going to run a joint account? And who pays for what?
Are we going to run a joint account?
Yes. Who pays for what in the house? Because as marriage goes on, there are things your husband will expect you to do.
Actually.
And questions will come up that what exactly was your addition to this house? And just like you don't like to be told that, you don't like to be told that, you know, it has happened and it will happen everywhere. But the thing is this, people don't pay attention to that. Who pays for what?
I'll talk to you ladies. Make sure you have vital contributions.
Yes.
And the day that question is being asked, you must be able to talk.
Say something and say,
and I do this.
These are the things
These are the things I do.
Don't be in a home
And I
and you
can
had
boldly
nothing.
say that now.
Don't be in a home and you are adding nothing. Because so that the man will not feel used. Who pays for what? Discuss it before you get into marriage.
But Pastor, that thing that can be a trap.
In what sense?
Thank you, Pastor. You know, back home those days, we had this couple. They were living in a room apartment. And the day I heard the woman's story, I felt so bad. While she was courting the man, he told her, while they were discussing about finances and all, he said he was going to give her 100 naira per day. 100 naira per day. And then, as time goes on and things began to change in Nigeria, she came with a child into the marriage. They had the first child, the second child, the third child, the fourth child. About 10 years later, he still stayed on giving her 100 naira per day, Pastor.
Who pays for what is different from how much will you be collecting?
You know how much you'll be collecting must increase.
You know, that must... And this is the wisdom I think this generation is learning from us. You know, this is stated. You must discuss it.
But they are subject to change.
Discuss like, okay, as things increase and God blesses you, don't forget that you have to
Increase your responsibility.
Yes.
Or
as
we might come for
responsibility
meetings
increases,
at times where we rediscuss these things.
yes, all these things you have
Over
to
time,
reevaluate.
you reevaluate over
Yes,
time, that's the
reevaluate
word.
what is coming in, subject to what is going on. There are houses where we've seen the husband is building, and while he's building, he expects the wife to take care of
the home.
and do all of that to support, so that she can say that while this structure was
This is my
going
contribution
on,
to
this
this
was my
structure.
contribution. These things should be discussed, and these things are part of preparing for marriage. So if you look at it, you see that many people did not prepare well. They were not helped to prepare.
But I'll just take you here. This has been on my mind, you know. It came up as a question during one of my meetings with my mentees, you know, and the question is this, that, okay, imagine what's the boundary or what's the extent of things you can tell someone you want to marry. And I was so surprised at the number of people who said they will not talk. And what's the question? Okay, if you've probably lived a rough life in the past as a lady, had so many partners sexually and all, and now you're going into a marriage, or probably something happened, you got raped. It could be rape, it could be, or just very terrible negative history. Will you tell the person you want to marry or not? And
are we looking
I
at,
had ladies,
is it right to tell the person, or is it
right to just keep quiet?
to keep quiet? Don't forget, I'll still take you back to three things: values, history, and personality. You have to do an intelligent study on the personality of the person.
So this thing is work.
Because,
Love and
and that's what
relationships
you have to
is
know.
a
I've
lot of
said
work.
this, that marriage is hard work.
It's hard work. Yes, sir.
Marriage is hard work. If you are a lazy person, you can't build marriage, you can't work marriage. You only be good for the first stage, but you will not be good and sufficient for the second stage of marriage. So you have to study the personality of the person, because what if the two of you went out and you met your ex, or your ex became one of his business partners, and something like that happens, or eventually there is a medical issue, and decision has to be taken in the hospital, and the decision has to be made based on some things you've subjected your body to,
True.
and is not aware. And there are decisions that you cannot make except by the consent of the husband. There are surgeries that you cannot take, you cannot subject someone to, because of something that has happened in the
Probably
past.
several abortions.
Abortions have taken place. Before they do CS, they will ask that question. And they want to know how many times has that thing taken place, so that they know what they are doing. And in case you now lied and you said, no, I didn't do nothing like that has happened. So who's going to die? Who's going to die?
Who's gonna die?
So it's the person who is lying that will die. And because he or she was not truthful enough, me, I will say this. Say whatever has happened and let the person know. 2 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 17. If any man be in Christ, he's a new creature. All things are passed away, and behold, all things have become new. We live by faith, not by sight.
Pastor.
We live by faith.
Okay.
Because it helps your relationship to be stronger.
Because I was surprised a lot of the ladies were saying, I will not talk.
And that's
I
what
will not
most
say
people
anything.
will not. That's what most people will say, that they will not talk.
And I said, that's deceit.
Or say, but listen, you will break yourself, you destroy yourself, because you cannot do anything against the truth but for the truth. Truth will always come out. It may not be today, maybe you don't
Over
know.
time, truth will
Life
always come out.
happens. You only know today, you don't know tomorrow. Life happens. And if life happens against you, or something happens against you, then you are at the mercy of your fate. You are at the mercy of whatever you have done well or done wrong in the past. And that thing may have been avoided if there's
only you
someone
had
who
said
knows
the
your
truth, the
history. And it helps to even guide the children. The husband can be deliberate and say that, you see someone, maybe one of the daughters taking a step that, this one wants to pick after the errors of the mother. Otherwise, you'll be calling your children a bastard. That this thing is not in our family. Nobody ever behaved like this. But you will take it easy with the child when you know the history of the person you married. That, it's not that this child is bad. It's just that, but people hide. People hide. They don't tell the truth. So training is now difficult. Because if you know a particular history, you begin from infancy. You start doing training, you start doing teaching, you start giving them examples to negate that negativity. But if those things are not said and everybody keeps it to himself, one child will pick it. One child will pick it. And when that child picks it, everybody will be angry that, I guess you're a bastard. Nobody ever behaved like this in our household. It's like a case
we're looking at recently, where the two parents were saying, this should be some few days ago. Remember that call where we had two siblings before us, and the two parents were saying, I never was like that. The other parent said, that's not true. Someone was like that who refused to say the truth.
Someone was like that. It's impossible to have 3 children and all the 3 children are behaving the same way. And the husband and wife are saying they were never like that. No, that's not, you can't call it demonic. It's not a demonic attack.
It's someone's pattern.
It's a behavioral pattern. So, these are reasons why I counsel the young lady out there, the young man out there, please tell your stories. Because your history will impact on your children.
Some might be afraid of losing the relationship.
And that's why it must be subjected to a spiritual authority. If I'm the pastor, I know how to go about that. So it still goes back to this tendency of not wanting to submit anything to anybody. Every trained pastor knows what to do with that kind of a story.
Trained pastor.
Yes. Not just pastor.
Trained pastor.
Every trained
That's
pastor.
deep.
Yes, knows what to do. Because most pastors out there are not trained. I'm sorry to say. Having a call is different from being trained in the things of the Spirit. Ministry is learnt. It's more than just a calling. It is learnt. How do we deal with issues like this? There is a how.
How do we bring peace in this kind of a situation?
There is a how.
This matter must be resolved.
So if you don't, I don't think I've ever had any marital case brought to me that we could not bring a solution to. I've not had
That's
that.
true.
I've not been, it hasn't happened that I'll now say, okay, at this juncture, we don't have a solution. There is always a way out. There is a way out. The training. And there are people who make little things complex so that they can take advantage of the personalities involved and, they get money out of them and all that. But that goes back to what we're saying. The place of training. The pastor must know what to do. Bring the two of them together and let them know, because we all submit to a higher authority, which is the authority of the Word of God. So if that is the basis, that's a very good starting point.
That's the foundation.
That's the foundation. We can build on it. We can build on it. So I will counsel, please tell your stories. Tell your stories.
I have another question, but it could take us far.
All right.
It could take us so far. Pastor, we're looking at not just we're looking at relationships. I have these questions come up a lot. What boundaries do your in-laws have when it comes to your marriage? At what point do you have to put your foot down and say no to what your mother-in-law or father-in-law is trying to say or do? And what do you do when you have a spouse who listens to their parents more than they do to you?
All right. It's a simple, and it's a question with a very simple answer. And when growth is not in view, abuse is inevitable.
Inevitable.
The construction has always been purpose. If growth also is not in view, abuse will be inevitable. You have to know that marriage, it is you separating from where you're coming from to establish something new. You're separating yourself from where you're coming from in order to establish something new.
At some point I would have said men need to have that consciousness, but right now I think both males and females need to have that consciousness.
Because where you are going is better, should be better
than where you're coming
from. Some people live all their life based on where they are coming from. This is where I was trained, this is where I was brought up, this is this, and all that. We are not saying cut off from your parents, but to live a successful life, God said, come out of your father's house to a land that will show you that scripture. So you have to learn to come. Some people have not come out. He's still a boy. He's still a boy. My daddy said, my mommy said, my daddy, my mommy, and all that. We are not outrightly saying that you cut off from them. But have to know that there are issues that are around the sanctity and the covenant of marriage. And when it comes to that kind of an issue, they are not allowed to come in.
Like what, Pastor?
Okay, let's say for instance, something happened, I don't know if you can remember, we're still at our first house where we got married then. You were cooking we had a visitor from the family, and you had, you poured what you were cooking on yourself. Okay. I don't know if you remember.
I can remember.
You poured everything on yourself, and you ran out of you shouted and all that.
And ran out of the kitchen.
I ran out of the kitchen. Everybody was, we all got up and all that. And you ran into the toilet. You removed your clothes and all of that. The people with me in the sitting room, almost rushed into the toilet too and all that. It was not, but I have to start my granddad. No, you can't enter. My wife is the one inside. No, it's my wife. I had to stay there and they respected
Boundary.
that. The boundary. Some men, and they were not doing it out of.
It was
they were
reflex.
It was just reflex. Thank you. It was just reflex. But many people, because of that growth thing that is not proper or fully done, may just like, oh, it was just like,
They didn't mean
we
it.
just, yes, we just wanted to help and all of that. So there are personal issues that the input of in-laws are not. In fact, it's better to add the input of counselors or spiritual authorities than to bring in the input of
in-laws.
Yes. Because if they control you once, they will control you more.
They will want to keep controlling.
They will keep controlling. And you have to let them know that this is a new family, not what we have before.
I have a lot of questions from mentoring school, my mentoring school. Those who are married, we have one situation we're trying to deal with. The mother-in-law wants to raise a child the way she raises children, the tribal mark thing, and this is the way you should use this. Give this, what do they call this now? These local drinks. That is what you should use to train your child, this and that. She doesn't want to do any of those stuff. But the problem in the marriage now is the husband would always tell her whatever my mommy says over her child.
I will just counsel, it's a very small issue to deal with. The spiritual authority. The pastor will do that. The brother is not educated.
The challenge we have
enough.
now, she married someone who is not submitted to any spiritual authority.
And that's the problem. That's the problem. That's a great problem she has created for herself. And only God, so she will have to submit herself to that. There's nothing that can be done. So if we say that there must be someone, you see, there are people also I've seen who get married and they try to pick their husband out of church. Like, by the time you begin to make them see reasons why it's not necessary to be submitted to the authority of their pastor and all of that, then you're creating a problem for yourself. The pastor already has a good life.
So we had a case recently, the brother who left home and didn't come home for months.
Okay.
And the wife came at one power night just came to report, he has not been at home. And all we had to do was to make him come for the power night program, and we were able to resolve it. She was able to take him home. That could only happen because she has gone to his parents. They were unable to resolve. Even the parents were supporting what he was doing. And it was truly, that's true. It was at that point they resolved everything.
That's the
and
way,
they went
that's
back
the way
home
marriage
together.
works. That's the way marriage works. Because some people had a street experience of marriage. He was raised on the streets. He grew up on the streets. He made it on the streets. Now, you want to make that kind of a person an only person. It's going to be difficult.
It's a lot of work.
Yes, until they find an example. And they can now be tutored, trained.
Retrained.
Yes, appropriated correctly that, okay, this is the way to do this.
This is how it should be.
It should be. Because of the future we are building.
Working.
Because tomorrow is more important than yesterday.
Even today.
Yeah.
Even the way it is today. I've been looking for the words to spell this out to her. And now she wants me, the one whose husband is not submitted to any spiritual authority, she wants me to talk to him. As what?
No, you don't have any business.
I don't have any business to talk to him.
You will be doing something you don't have the right to. You'll be doing something you don't have the right to. I wouldn't even want to come into things like that. The only thing I will tell you to do is pray. And you pray and keep praying. Only God knows when that thing will be resolved. That's the only counsel I can grant. I'll only subject her to prayer. You say, Pastor, pray along with me. I'll pray then, but I'm not sure I'll continue praying because I have so many things on me. So that's why flowing around a system. You see,
working
all your
system.
commitment to church, the day the profit of it will come, you will not know. You will need it. So if God says this is a system, He's wiser than us. Let's flow with the system of God. Oh, but I had this church altar. I got offended in church and all that.
Altar.
You know, I read something today. A pastor posted this. I don't know him, but he said yesterday there was almost a crash on Air Peace. An Air Peace flight to Port Harcourt, I think, almost had a crash, so there was an emergency landing. He said, today I'm back on Air Peace traveling to Abuja again. He said, well, I didn't get offended. I'm not going to travel home by air again.
Peace by here.
He said, I'm back today. He said, why don't people have the same consciousness to church?
True.
Why don't people have the same consciousness to church? When they offend you at your workplace, you don't say, I'm not coming again. Because you get something natural from it. But you trample on your spiritual benefits. I have church oughts.
I don't know where that word was coming from.
It's a demonic language. It came from the pit of hell. Someone that traveled deep into Satan coined that word. There are many words in the society like that. It has a way of appealing to your mind.
Your mind.
It's not from God. It's not a biblical word. The Bible teaches love. That one teaches retaining offense. So people will not know it was someone who traveled deep into the soul of Satan who coined that word. So we are in the end times and more of it are going to come.
Pastor, we love prophetic insights from you, fatherly counsel. I would just really want you to talk to us as a pastor, a father, and a prophet that you are.
Yes, I will take everyone back to the Bible and make you understand fundamentals of our faith and how it relates to marriage. Listen, if you don't pay attention to science, you will see wonders.
Hi. If you don't pay attention to science, you will see wonders. So it becomes science
Some things
and wonders.
are signs. Don't wait for the wonders. So there are things that the way you treat issues are different. The way you treat issues are different. Let's say, for instance, the issue of, and this goes with my prophetic counsel. If you notice that you came into a relationship with someone, you're not married yet, and the two of you are always arguing. You're both born again, you're Christians. You are arguing all the time. It could be that your spirit is telling you that there is a problem to be resolved that is spiritual. Listen, when you marry someone, you're not marrying just that person's body. You are marrying into the spirit of that person.
The soul, the spirit.
You are marrying into every spirit, every atmosphere, every covenant that is surrounding that person and where they came from. And your spirit can be reacting and telling you something is wrong that has to be dealt with. And you are not aware. If you are not spiritual, you will not know that the reason for this. If two people are fighting, you're only looking at two bodies fighting. But listen to me, a man that sees in the realm of the spirit knows that it is actually two spirits that are clashing.
That are loggerheads. So
when the spirit of this man and the spirit of this woman do not align, naturally the thing that happens is there will be conflicts. You don't, not one conflict that happens, you keep yourself, you see, yes, consistently, you fight more than you laugh. You see yourself fighting, having argument, having something to, and one thing about conflict is if it is not handled, it can spoil a moment, it can spoil a morning, it can spoil an afternoon, it can spoil a day, it can spoil a week, it can spoil a month, it can even spoil a lifetime. Depending whether it's minor or it is major. And listen to me, I will want you to know the place of prayer is important. The place of prayer, the place of serving God. It was Joshua that said, as for me and my house, we'll serve the Lord.
Serve the Lord.
It's so important. It's so important. Serve the Lord with all your hearts, with all your being. That's what God wants from you. Don't raise a family and say that, oh, we're just going to live all by ourselves. There are families who don't go to church until problem comes. Let me say this, and I'm saying it with prophetic insights. If you did or run a family that does not serve God, go and study the history of the children of Israel from the time of Joshua into the book of the Judges. You will notice every time they decided not to serve God again, something happens. They go into affliction. Some family problems are not necessary. They should not be if the family and the household is the house of those who serve the Lord. Please serve God. It's important. Have commitment to your local church. Let there be something you're doing. Oh, Pastor, I'm tired of church and all that. Don't let that kind of a thing come out of your mouth. The wisdom of God is church. Church is God's wisdom. You can't be wiser than God.
Church is God's wisdom.
Church is God's wisdom. And I'm not saying this because I'm a pastor, but listen, as someone that has counseled with people, and sometimes people just serving God becomes the solution. People who go to church are happier than people who don't go to church. People who serve God are happier. They have more joy than those who don't. And I pray that the God who knows the end from the beginning will keep everybody in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
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 Yes.
A recap, final words as we bring this season to.
So keep loving. Love works. Love has worked there. And we have had love work for us. Love works. Believe in love. Love is real. And love is beautiful.
No one has ever had to settle any conflict for us.
Yeah, because we
had foundation.
with the foundations.
Real strong foundation.
And we have boundaries.
Yes, sir.
We respect boundaries.
Boundaries.
So if you do, it works. If it could work before, it can work and it will still work.
Okay.
God bless you.